Good evening, guys. MWUSA Season 2, Episode 236. And I think I need to make a confession here. I think I am crazy. That's what I think. So, right now, it is already 6 p.m. It is pitch black outside. I think someone just turned the moon off. I haven't seen the moon in like 2 weeks. But obviously it's cloudy out, very dark outside, and I am just leaving on a trip that should get me home just in time to go on another trip. I don't know what to do here. So just a brief background here. Yesterday was a nice day out. It was about 50 degrees. And because of that, we were able to get Christmas lights up, put them around the garage, have a big flagpole, put it on that, made like a shooting star looking thing, could be like a tree, depending on how you take it, and it's like 20 feet tall, and put some LED gifts outside. It looks like presents outside, snowmen, bunch of other things, and just got it looking really nice. And then we also have a wreath that I bought a couple years ago, and this is like a 6 or 7 foot tall wreath. I go big time. When I'm going to go do something, I'm going to do it right. So this wreath is heavy, right? It's got metal holding everything together on the inside. It's got LED lights built into it, hundreds of them. It's gigantic. And we hang it above the garage. There's a window above the garage, and I put a rope around the top of this wreath, and I put the rope inside the house and then around the window, like the windowsill area, to keep the wreath in place. So usually I've got my wife upstairs and I'm downstairs on like a 10-foot ladder, and I'm holding it above my head, and then she's just putting it in place. But she was out, and it was me and the kids, so I held it above my head while a kid you can't really trust held the ladder for me, and I'm wobbling up and down the ladder, and the kids got the rope in the house. Then I had to go upstairs, and I had to grab the wreath. There's a desk by the window, so I had to climb over the desk, stick my body halfway out the window, grab the wreath, pull it up, and put it in place. And then half the lights didn't work, so I had to go back downstairs again, stand on top of the ladder, and fix all that, then go back upstairs, then back downstairs, and finally got all that done. So then I go visit my mom. She makes some nice food for me, and I brought some of the kids with me, and that was all nice and cozy and everything. And then we go to stand up to get out of the kitchen to go to the living room, and my back is so stiff. It's so stiff, I can hardly move. And there's this stuff called Voltaren or something like that. It's for arthritis. And it's not arthritis that I have, but this stuff is amazing. Like, instantly stops the pain. You should just have it with you everywhere you go. And so I put some of that on my back and took a couple Aleve, and it settled things down. Well, that was yesterday, and then I got a good night's sleep. I woke up, I felt good, went to church, everything's fine, and then slowly throughout the day, this pain started creeping back. So I said to my wife, okay, I'm going to leave home between 2 and 4. And she said, oh. I said, what's wrong? She said, well, we have this thing. I've been planning it for like a month. I can't believe you're going to miss it. Your kids are going to go and you're not going to go? All right, what do we have to do? Well, we're going to this farm, and they have this nativity scene. We're going to go there at 4, and around 5 o'clock they're going to have this display, and we're going to go. Okay, we'll go over there. Well, it's about 45 degrees outside. The sun is down. The wind is whipping around, and this display is outside. So kids are over there having fun. They're making ornaments. They're using their they're doing like coloring book stuff and all kinds of things like that, having a good time, and I am freezing. So I'm going to a casino tonight, right? So I'm not wearing a bunch of heavy clothes. I'm wearing a t-shirt and jeans. I've got a light jacket on that I can take off in the car before going into these casinos, so I have no logos on me at all. So I'm standing in the whipping wind, and it was a beautiful display. They had like a they had like an innkeeper, and he talked about his story about how Jesus and Mary came to the inn and there wasn't enough room and all that stuff. And you know, I've actually been to where Jesus was born and actually where he was buried too. So, but anyway, then there's another scene where they're in the manger and there's a baby and Mary and Joseph and some goats running around in a pen with them and stuff. It was pretty neat. And then another one with some shepherds looking up at the stars, and then all these angels appear out of nowhere. It was really beautiful. And then you walk around. This is like a farm, so you're walking from one area of the farm to the other. And the next area has the wise men. And then the last one is just a man, I think Balthazar is his name. And he was talking about his story and all that. It was really very, very nice. I was very impressed. And it was all free. And you can donate hats or gloves or something like that for the people who need it. And we just bought a huge bag of all these different things and dumped it in, helped fill their bag up, their big container up. So that was all really, really nice. And I really enjoyed it. And I thought that was really good. And I'm glad we did it. The problem, and I don't want to be a complainer. I don't want to be that guy who complains about everything. But the problem is I've got about a 12-hour journey, not including gambling. Probably including gambling. So right now it is 6 p.m. and I'm not going to be back till about 6 a.m. And guess what time I'm going to be heading the totally different direction? About 6 a.m. So it's going to be a very interesting night. I do still do all my work for my job on nights and weekends. So I'm still watching tickets and stuff. I'll be doing that as I'm driving. And remember, I earned the ability to be able to have some extra time off every week so that I could gamble in exchange for working nights and weekends. So I literally work 7 days a week. You can tell I've got teenagers because I use the word literally, and no other age group uses that. So here I am on my way, and I am about 140 miles still from my first stop, and we'll see what happens. Now, I could go a totally different direction, and my first stop would only be about 120 miles. The problem is, if I go that direction, the next stop is so far away, I wouldn't be home in time to be able to change clothes and leave home. So here we go. We're on our way. The goal tonight is to make $2,000. We're going to start the week off right, and we're going to have tonight and all day tomorrow, and then I am hopping on a plane and going south, and then I'll catch up with you guys, let you know what's going on. But for now, we still have tonight together, and I'll be back to update you. Alright guys, I am back. I'm still on my way here. A funny thing happened today. So I'm driving in the car, and my nosy son is behind me, and I turn on the app for the podcast, and my son looks and says, "What? You have a podcast?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "I'm just looking at this app." And he totally said, you've got a podcast. I know you do. So we'll see what happens. He's getting older anyway, but he's nowhere near the age I would want to tell him what's going on. So we'll see what happens with that. Right now I'm driving by this man's house. This man built this house recently. When I saw this being built, I thought it was a country club. His guest house is as big as half my neighborhood. He spent $4 million on grading the land, flattening out the land and getting it suitable to build on. That's how much money. And he had a security company with a guard outside the gate for about 9 or 10 months while they were building this house. The entire driveway is imported stone from Italy. And we're talking about, I don't know, conservatively, quarter-mile long driveway. Unreal, this thing. I forget what this guy did. I'm going to have to figure it out, and I'll let you guys know, but it's amazing, amazing. When you get a certain amount of money, how money just, you can't spend it. It has no value anymore. You know, that's why once you get yourself comfortable and happy and you have enough for you and your family, you don't need hundreds of millions of dollars. You just need a few $1,000,000, have a good life, you know, be close to your family, enjoy your life. You know, you don't have to be away from your family 80 hours a week. Just have a nice life, quiet life, and be happy. So you only live once. Anyway, I am still on my way. I am a long way away from my first stop, and I will be back. All right, guys, I am back. Finally got to the first spot. Walked in there and wasn't finding much at first, but then I started seeing a lot of things that people had missed. Like, you can tell the level of the person checking this. So I see a play right away. I sit down, and almost right away I sit down and I'm ahead $100 like instantly. Go to the next machine, good position, I lose 60. The one next to it is in great position, and I go to put my voucher in there and it won't take my voucher. All right. Try again, push the button for someone to come, nobody comes, and then I'm like, okay, that's fine, it doesn't want to take my money, that's okay, because that's the reason I hold on to my points. I'll just use my points and convert those to cash. And I looked and I had enough points, I thought, for the play, so I said, okay, if nobody comes, then I'll go ahead and use my points, and then worst case, if the play is still going and I'm out of points, out of money in the machine, then I'll wait for somebody. So I waited around, and a guy comes, and I told him what was going on. He never said a word to me. He cleared it, and he walked away like some grumpy guy. I don't care, whatever, the heck with you. You do whatever you want. You think you're going to make my life miserable because you're miserable? You're not going to, because I hit 100 on that machine. Then I'm walking around, and I see this guy who is the luckiest AP, always drunk, always there with his wife. So lucky. He pulls stuff out of his butt like you wouldn't believe. Always finds a way. So he's playing a machine. I say, maybe I shouldn't even check these. You've already looked at them, right? No, I haven't looked at them. Okay. I see a play at a 2-cent level. And I said, I don't think I want this, but you would probably play this. And his wife comes around, and she goes, oh, that's a nice one. I said, it's my gift to you. You can have it. So she said, you wouldn't play that? I said, no, I wouldn't play that. She said, you're probably right. I said, but I can't compete with the amount of money you guys have won on these machines, so, you know, whatever, good luck. So I let that go. I go down the hall, around the corner, and I see a couple okay plays, but not great. I say, no way. I leave those and check a couple other machines. There's nothing there. Go back around to where I started. There was one machine that a guy was sitting at, and he left it. And I said, I'm just going to wrap back around, look. And I saw that thing. It was like a beautiful moment. I looked at the machine. It looked at me. I smiled, a little twinkle in my eye. I sit down to play this thing, and it beats me up. It beats me up. It took, at first it gave me a nice quick hit, like $98. But then the long-term play ended up losing money. I only ended up losing about $10 on the play, but it felt like I lost like 110 because the first couple spins were so good. Now I'm grumpy and walking to the back edge of the building, and I'm like, I don't know why I check these machines. There's never anything on them. And there's 5 of them next to each other. I check all the 1 cent, the 2 cent, find one play at $6 a spin. And I'm like, oh, that thing never hits. 3 spins, the play is over. I lose $18. Do I stop? No. I go to 5 cents, nothing. 10 cents, I find 2 plays at 10 cents on the same machine. Sit down on the first one, $10 a spin, lose $30. Same machine, $15 a spin, and I end up hitting on that one. With that one, brought me up to be ahead $461. So I'm feeling better now. That made up for that last machine. Now there's a set of machines in the corridor in that area there, and I always check them, but pretty much nobody else does. So I said, let's go to the high priority stuff and come back to these. So I go check the other things, and I walk into one area. There's this machine. It's one of those things like you have to look both ways to make sure nobody's watching, right? Because you think you're doing something wrong because it's so juicy. I sit down, and there's no money in the machine, but the machine is ready to pay. But there's a card in the machine. What do? I don't see any money. I don't see a seat that's leaned against the machine. I don't see anybody looking. I look over at the ATM. There's nobody in line at the ATM. So I said, this is mine. So it's a $2 a spin play, and I was in it about, I don't know, maybe $60 or so. It was starting to look bleak, actually, because it was paying so terribly. And then it hit, and it put me ahead. So I was ahead like 461. That took me down to like 400. By the time that thing hit, that one spin brought me up to being ahead $678. So that was like $270 win on that spin. And then I looked around a few more things, and I could tell that somebody was screwing with people, making it look like they were checked when they weren't, anyway, it was I could tell that somebody was screwing with us. So I went and looked at every single machine meticulously, and I didn't find anything else. And I knew I had free food for the week, but I'm not going to be here all week, so I might as well just go ahead and get it now. And I didn't want to wait in line for them to make me food and all that, so I got all drinks. I'm going to take them with me, take them in the house so they don't freeze in the car while I'm gone. And I left, plus 678. So nice little session to start. I'm worried about time already. I'm considering skipping the next casino, but I'm not positive yet. It's on the way here to a third casino. So I'm going to take my time, think it through, and bring up some maps, see what time I'd be everywhere, because I don't want to go to a blackjack casino at a time that's going to be super packed. So we're going to see if we can time this properly. I've got over an hour to the next spot, so I'm going to take my time, and if I don't go there, it'll be 2 hours to the one after that. So I'm letting you go for now, and then I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. I decided not to skip the next casino, so I went in there and just took one lap around. For some reason they gave me $18 in free play, which I don't know why. It's a very odd number, but they gave me $18, and I took a lap around the whole place, came back around to the front, played what I could find, all small plays, and I ended up ahead 109. So turned $18 into 109. And what can I say? That place is actually pretty busy for this time of night, for this size of a city or town. And all these food places around here. I'm kind of hungry, but I kind of don't want to stop right now. So I think I want to go play some blackjack first and see how that goes, and then decide whether or not I'm going to eat. Although by then a lot of the restaurants would have closed, but who cares? So right now, I didn't mention the weather, but it's nice, it's dry outside, it's 45 degrees, and traffic is kind of heavy for a Sunday night, but we're about to get on the highway. It's going to be a little ways to the next spot, and we're going to see what happens there. We're going to be playing blackjack, probably spreading 50 to 300 or 50 to 500, depending on how busy it is and how much attention I get in there, and we'll see how that goes. So right now I'm gonna let you go, and I'll be back with you. Okay guys, I am back. I went into that casino and played, came back out to the car, and I've got a text message and a missed call from my wife. One of my kids fell and may have broken a toe. So, they're in the ER. Nothing I could do here. I'm not even in the state. So, hopefully everything is okay with that. Funny enough, I just got into a payment plan for another hospital bill for one of my other kids going to the same ER. So, oh goodness. I do that because it charged me no interest. You can go up to 6 or 7 months or maybe even a year with no interest. So, might as well keep the money and get the interest-free loan from the hospital and just pay it back whenever they make me. So, hopefully everything is okay. So I go into that place, and the high limit room is kicking. There's all kinds of people in there, very busy, but there's one table that's empty, and I buy in for $500 at that table, start spreading 50 to 250. I actually probably would have gone higher. I just never even got more than a true 3, so I didn't even get a chance to go to 500 or anything else. So as soon as I bought chips, there was a dealer change, and I've never seen this dealer before. He seemed all right. He was very talkative, liked to talk about percentages and chance of winning and all these different things. And there was one point where I had a 12 against a 4 and the deviation set to hit it. And I said, I really feel like I should hit it. And he's telling me that it's, he gave me some ridiculous number about, I forget what it was, but he gave me a number that was so ridiculous about how good of a bet that is. And then later on, there was another, I had a soft 18 against a 10, and I hit it and I got a 2, and he was telling me how wrong that was. But so that tells you what he knows with all his percentages. Played a shoe by myself, started off real rough, and by the end of the shoe I was like either plus or minus $25. It was real close. Started the next shoe, the guy comes to the table right before the shoe starts playing, and we start doing horribly. The play slowed down so much. The first shoe took about 10 minutes. That's getting more than 5.5 deck penetration. So there might have been 20 or less cards left in the shoe. And we played that in under 10 minutes. And then the next shoe with this other guy at the table was almost a half hour. So I waited till that shoe ended. It was the condition of the shoe was good. We were losing, but the count was good most of the way through the shoe, and I finally left at the end of the shoe plus 600. There were no other tables to go to. That guy wasn't going anywhere. He bought in for 400. He second guessed everything. He played everything wrong. I understand, doesn't matter, all that, but the fact of the matter is he slowed down the game and played everything wrong. And he's one of these guys that will try to take a shot as well. He tried a couple times, but the dealer shut him down. I gave you a chance to hit, and you didn't hit, you know. So I didn't really want to be there much longer. And interestingly, a few weeks ago, I talked about a lady who was a pit boss who I hadn't seen for a long time. I don't know what's going on up here. I see a lot of smoke. Okay. Anyway. And I thought she was from the casino that I was banned from. Turns out, I'm remembering more of the story now. She never was. She was from here. She was very busy doing what she was doing. When I colored up and left, she approved it without looking at it. I tried to say something to her a couple times. She never even acknowledged me. So I'm perfectly fine with that. No problem with that. So I ended up ahead 600 on the blackjack and played just 2 slots and really didn't have anything on them, and ended that ahead $20. So overall, I think we're in pretty good shape. I think we are approaching 1,500 ahead for the night already, and we're going to move on. We're going to move on to a place here where I'm either going to make 300 or 400, or I'm not going to play anything at all. That's the kind of place that this is. So we're going to give it a shot and see what we find in there. I kind of feel like I'm not going to find anything because this place will die down faster than the place I was just at, and the place I was just at had already died down for the night, so I'm sure everything's been picked through, but it's very close, so I'm going to give it a shot, see what happens, and then I'm going to look for something to eat. Still early enough that some fast food places will be open, 24-hour places, of course. I just don't want to end up at a gas station getting dinner. So what else is happening here? I just saw a lot of people playing a lot of things with hope that they were just about to hit, with all these I can't say much about it, but these machines that trick people into thinking that something is about to happen. It's really very sad to me to see the kinds of people, and how I saw one guy yelling at his girlfriend to give him more money, and that machine was not going anywhere. He wasn't even close to having anything. And I see how, and I have seen how, relationships and lives can get destroyed with casinos. So unless you know what you're doing, do something else for fun. Go watch a movie. Spend $20 or some ridiculous amount of money watching a movie. You're better off. Go to dinner. Talk to each other. You're way better off than going gambling. So anyway, that's my, what do you call those public service announcements with a little shooting star that goes across your TV telling you to, public service. Anyway, pulling up on this next casino, and I'll be back to update you. Okay, guys, I am back. That was quick. 15 minutes in and out. Nothing to report. Found one play, 75 cents, 4 spins, and did a head $13. That was it. So that place was deserted. It was littered with broken dreams. So many machines with 1 or 2 cents in them. And, most of the time these machines will spit out a voucher after a few minutes. So there must have been a lot of people really recently got cleaned out. So, all right. We're back on the road now. It's still kind of early. We're doing good on time. We might actually get an hour's sleep tonight. I'm excited about this. I heard back from my wife. They just took them back, and they haven't looked at the toe yet, but it's very swollen, so I'm a little concerned, but hey, we have good insurance. That's why it's there, and everything is going to be all right. So I will wait for her call. Right now, we're moving on to the next spot. It's about 45 minutes away, and we'll see what we can get done. I almost have enough time to add an extra casino, but I'm not going to just because of what's going on at home. So right now, heading to the next casino, and I'll let you know what happens. Okay, guys, I am back. So this place is normally older people, small town people, things like that. But right now it is much after midnight, and it's mainly young people in there. I guess these are the people that don't have jobs. They're just standing around, hanging out, talking, and it looks like someone's already been through and gotten all the good stuff. But I did find some things to play. Just took my time, went through everything. I'm actually ahead of schedule from where I thought I would be at this point. Yeah, I mean, not really that much going on in there. But I looked at some machines in detail that I rarely check just to make sure I got everything. But I did make a little bit of money, ended up ahead $119. So plus 119 more. It's a pretty nice day so far, with only having one session of blackjack and now being over, what, 1600, 17, somewhere in there. It's pretty good, and really the journey has not been that far, and the time-wise has not been that long, so I'm doing all right. I did stop at Taco Bell before they closed and got myself a Mexican pizza, 2 cheesy bean and rice, I know, very good for me, and a big handful of Diablo sauce. I love that stuff, and that is getting me through, got me some energy. The last casino I was at, all the fountain drink machines were broken. Actually, I should have gotten something here, but so I got a coffee, which I normally do not drink coffee, but it was actually pretty decent coffee. Right now it is 41 degrees outside, nice night. Pretty much the only people on the road that I'm seeing right now are truckers, so just taking my time right now, heading off to the next spot, which is about 45 minutes away, and then we'll see how that goes there and figure out what to do from there. So letting you go for now. I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. Update for you about the kid. We have a broken toe. I'm not sure which toe it is, but it's the bone in the middle, the top part of it, the more forward part of that part is broken. Does not require a cast, as far as I've heard. No crutches, no boot. You can use a regular shoe, but no playing any kind of ball games or anything. We'll have to sit on the bench until it's healed up. I don't know how long that's going to be. That took over 2 hours to get a diagnosis after taking the x-ray. So I guess not too many doctors feel like working at 10 or 11 o'clock p.m. on Sunday nights, or radiologists to check out x-rays. So thankfully, everything's going to be okay. That's the biggest thing, is making sure there's nothing severe that's going to change a kid's way of having to walk or anything like that. So that's all good. I went into this next casino, and I'm trying to remember back here. As soon as I walked in, I couldn't check half the machines because there were technicians working on them. I took almost a whole lap before I found a machine to play, and I played the first machine, and I was done. I was getting up, I was ahead, $141 on it. I go to cash out, and I accidentally push a button and bet $15 and lose $15 on it. So that dropped me down to like plus 126, and walk around for a while, check out a couple other plays, lose a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm up like 85. Then I come back around, and this Asian lady was checking a machine, and she left it where I could see a play, and I thought about it for a minute. It was definitely in the money, but it was high risk, $8 a spin, and it was going to require a few hundred spins, and I decided to go ahead and go for it. Maybe it was a little bit of frustration speaking, maybe not, I don't know. But I did finally hit that machine. It paid decently throughout, but not quite enough, and it did pay $500. And then, so by the time I got up from that machine, I was down, I don't know, maybe $40 or $35, something like that. Now at this point, I go take another lap, and I see a machine in position, and I see a guy standing in front of it. Looks like he's about to walk away. Now this machine for sure is going to pay out on the next spin. 100% sure it's going to pay out. So I'm going to wait for this guy to walk away, right? I walk a little bit closer, and it's a technician, and he's working on the touch screen. So I take a lap and another lap and another lap and all this back and forth, and finally about half an hour later he decides just to turn it off because he can't fix the touch screen. The other touch screen was working, just the one on top was not working. So the keypad was working fine. I could have spun it, I could have won, but he turned it off, so that play was gone. and I wasted a bunch of time. And then I go to the furthest back area of the casino. I see a couple plays back there. I lose money on those. Now I'm getting frustrated. I'm down, I don't know, $60 or so at that point, and I'm like, fine, I'll get out of here down $60. And I see another play, so I go play that one. $5 a spin. Finally hit that one, and end up leaving ahead $21. So after all that, I believe it's $21. Definitely. So end up leaving plus $21 after all that back and forth. And again, this casino, mostly younger people and very poor people who are either sleeping there or just getting out of the elements there. Again, I don't want to keep repeating myself, so I won't. So at this point now, it's after 2 a.m. I need to be up if I'm going to go travel. Well, for one thing, I need to check in for my flight in about 6 hours. So I also am supposed to be at work in about 6 hours. And I'm also supposed to leave for a gambling trip, which is going to be about a 14-hour trip in about 6 hours. So all that stuff is going on at the same time. Right now I'm going to relax and enjoy the drive home and not stress about anything. Temperature's 37 degrees. I'm going to relax, watch a couple YouTube videos, and everything's going to be fine. I'm going to get home and should be able to get an hour or two of sleep and then take off. And then tomorrow I definitely need to get some sleep because then my trip is starting. And as you know, on my trips, I'm usually doing some kind of gambling or traveling 18 plus hours a day, if not 20 plus hours. So you're all caught up. I'm going to let you go. If you have any questions or comments, mwusa21@gmail.com. mwusa21@gmail.com. See you tomorrow.